Hey folks, welcome back to another Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at Mistwind, which is brought to you by First Fish Games. It's for 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, and games usually run about 75 to 120 minutes. In the newly explored frontiers of the Mistwind Islands, bustling cities are filled with hard-working townsfolk, from fungus farmers to deep mist divers. Transport whales are seen soaring above the thick mist, transporting citizens and cargo from port to port. Mistwind is growing rapidly, and our leaders are looking to connect with neighboring nations to expand trade networks that will be beneficial for many years to come. You are the head of a trades company, with a chance to make a name for yourself. You've trained your transport whales well, and now you need to gather your resources to build your outposts and maximize your network efficiency while keeping up with the supply and demands of the local capitals. Mistwind is a strategic game of building networks and meeting the demands of each nation. Players will gain resources to build outposts or train transport whales, gather and deliver cargo to fulfill territory demands, and complete networking contracts with neighboring nations in an effort to become the most trusted trader in all of Mistwind. So this is a game of resource management, trade routes, pick up and deliver, and some worker placement thrown in. Lots of interesting aspects as you move around this world. Now you as the players are going to be building outposts, and you're going to be picking up resources to move to other areas of the board, and you have these amazing transports, these flying whales that you actually will put cubes in the back of if you move around the board. But you need outposts in place and connected paths so it's free for you to move around. However, you can still move, you just have to pay your whales in food, krill, in order to get them to move from space to space. Each player will receive a set of transports. You're going to start with one on the board, and you have your series of outposts that you can build later. And you have a series of cubes for tracking the different resources on your resource board, and you get network cards. You get 2, you have to keep one and then discard the other. These are for in-game scoring. You want to create that network of paths in order to get the maximum points on the card. Also, you're going to have your discs for the worker placement aspect of the game. And that's really the main things you have as a player. Now, on your resource board was this really handy guide showing you step by step what you're doing on each round or each turn of the game. Around the main board, we have our different worker spots. Here we have resources, and on the other side is our labor board. At the top are character cards, and at the bottom are port cards. Now the cards are important because what they're going to do is change out every round of the game, which is really a nice aspect, giving you more options every time you play. And then also on the main board, you have different areas. You've got ports, like you have your national port, which is your big one, but then you've got areas or ports that you gather resources from. And the different resources here, you have oil, you've got medicine, coal, fungi, you got textiles, and you have coffee. Now also there are krill. Krill will not be gathered. This is not a cube you put into your ship. However, the krill will be added to your resource board. And again, this is for spending to move your transport around the board. Your territories around the main board, as well as your national ports, are where you're going to bring that cargo and deliver, and then pick up one of the tokens. These tokens are going to be used to gather points at the end of the game. So at the start of every round, you're going to take your different worker tokens, and you have to discard one. So you will be without one of these. And why this is crucial is because they have numbers on them. And when you look at the resource board and the labor board, you have to place a token of that number in order to take advantage of one of those spots. Where you have the port cards and you have the character cards are work a little differently. But those things are going to be key to you getting resources and doing various actions around the board. So again, you're going to be playing these tokens and taking advantage until you run out of your available actions that you can perform, and then we'll move on to the next round. So it's really that simple, but along the way, it's all totally up to you what choices you're going to make. Again, first, one of the spots you might go is getting resources. That's all it is. It's super straightforward. You place your token in the appropriate number, and you gather those resources and put them on your player board. Labor board, there's a lot more going on. I'll try to quickly run through this. The first spot, you can pay a coin to take advantage of one of the port bonuses, one of the cards that are face up. At the bottom are the bonuses, give you resources, various things. Number 2 spot allows you to take the first player marker. Now, first player marker at the end of the game is key because it will give you extra victory points. And then you can also get 2 krill as well as exchange resources. 3 is about moving your transport up to 3 spaces for free and then picking up or delivering cargo. And then 4 is about building outposts or training more of these transports, these whales. And it's going to cost you 3 for an outpost and 5 for one of the transports. And then the 5th option on the labor track is all about getting character cards. This allows you to draw 2 cards from the top of the deck and pick one and discard the other. So these character cards are going to come in several different flavors. You've got some that are instant use, some that are one-time use, you've got some that are ongoing, and then you have others that are for in-game scoring. So they're going to do various things through the game, like give you resources, or allow you to exchange like krill into money, or vice versa, and or let you place an outpost. So they're going to do all kinds of different things, and character cards are really important to gather through the course of the game. And then once you use them, if it's a one-time use, you flip it over and so forth in your play area, but you want to hold on to them. And the other way to get these beyond the labor board is just by paying the cost in the top right corner of the card that is visible. And a quick note on your personal resources, the ones you're gathering on your player board. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory based on the images, but you've got steel, you've got wood, you've got krill, which you need to feed your transports when you don't have an outpost nearby, and you have coin. So in order to build off of a port card at the bottom of the board, you'll place your disc, your worker there, and then in the top left corner will determine where you can build. So you can build an outpost or transport, it doesn't matter. You just have to pay different costs. So for an outpost, it's 1 wood and 1 steel, and for a transport, it's 2 wood and 2 steel. And then you can build in that location that you see in that top left corner. But at the bottom of the card, the port bonus will not be calculated until the end of the round. So after you've placed one of your worker discs in one of the 4 locations and taken that action, you still get to choose to move one of your transport if you wish. Let's say the teal was here at the port where you can gather oil. The oil, this is really neat too. If you're picking up cargo, you can add the cargo to the ship. Just add the cube to the ship. It's really cool. And then from there, you're going to choose to move. Now, I don't have one of my outposts here. If I did have an outpost here, it would cost you nothing to move from the outpost. But in this case, we don't have one yet, so we're going to cost us 1, 2 in order to move 2 spaces, costs you 2 krill to do so. But you can deliver this oil to this territory because at the bottom of the demand track, you'll see it, they want oil. So you take this token and everything else would shift down. But because you chose the one at the bottom, which is really great, you can take 2 steel or you can take a coin and resource. At the end of the round, you're going to be first checking the port special bonuses. Now, multiple players can use these ports, so discs can stack up as they're taken advantage of. And the player that's on the top of the stack will get the bonus at the bottom. And one thing I didn't mention is that when you do go and activate one of these ports, you don't have to always build. However, I generally did build, but you can instead gain a resource. And then you'll claim awards if they're available. So there's really 3 main things going on here is that you can claim your network card. If you've completed the network, you can flip it over and show that you've done that, and you get those points either for partial or fully collecting at the end of the game, or you've done a nation network where you have connected the nation to the port that it calls for on the key. Place your cube there showing what victory points you get at the end of the game. And then you have achievements at the bottom of the board. Like this simple one here is just if you have a number of steel and wood combination, you can take that token, you'll get those points at the end of the game. The rest of the round is just cleanup. You'll gather all your discs back up and you'll refresh the character cards and you'll refresh the port cards. And it's that simple. And then you'll play through 4 rounds and then you calculate score. So many different ways to score in this game. You've got all the demand tokens, the small ones and the large ones. You've got some character cards you can get totals from, your network cards, your network nation that you did by connecting the paths. So many different options. I love that you just have many directions to go in this game. And of course, the player with the most points is going to be the ultimate trader in Mistwind. All right, folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview, and everything you've seen here has been in prototype form, so keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now, with that said, this game has a lot going on, and I really like I said, there's so many great choices to be made, and how you build out the paths has that kind of that Ticket to Ride vibe to it a little bit, but with so much more going on. You're building those outposts, you're putting your transports out, and it's really this interesting pick up and deliver as well as you grab that cargo and bring it to the different areas of the board. And obviously you're after points in the end, but I love the choices between the character cards, the ports, and the resources, and the labor. Just so many different directions you can go and how you gather points in this game. But folks, ultimately, if this looks like something of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it for me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.